Hello one and all, and welcome to yet another episode of the 8-Bit Academic, your one-stop shop for gaming nostalgia and random unsolicited information that I'm sure most of you get baited into watching because firstly, I use very clickbaity titles, sorry not sorry, it simply works, and secondly, you actually enjoy this shit, don't you? Yeah, you. You like hearing some random dude from South Africa with a nasally deadpan voice whispering into your ears at night, or whenever it is you watch my videos. Also, just a side note, my voice is extra nasally today because my sinuses decided to torture me this week. Anyway, now that I have exposed you all online for secretly loving my content, even though you pretend you don't, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and leave a nice comment to help me win the never-ending war against the algorithm. And now for a word from today's sponsor. Why am I deluding myself? I have no sponsors yet. My channel is still too small.
I hurt myself today to see if I still feel.
Okay, all lame and cringe-inducing jokes aside, in today's video I will be looking into both a gaming franchise and a topic that I have extremely little interest in because I am a super geek who finds the subject of automobiles extremely boring. But as they say, in order to attain personal growth, one must subject themselves to difficult challenges.
The nigga run like this gonna make me lose my I swear to God! He gonna make me lose my in this bitch! I swear to God! You motherfucker! What the do you want from me? What the hell?
So today's retro video game showcase I will be taking a look at is the classic Need for Speed 2 game, which was developed by Electronic Arts or EA Games, as we now all know them by.
What do I do, Lord?
Destroy the child, corrupt them all.
This is their plan, people. These are demons. Just like the Bible says, it's basically an intergalactic invasion into this space through people. I'm telling you, it's what all the ancients said, it's what they warned of, it's what we're dealing with. They're demons. They're frickin' interdimensional invaders, okay? I'll just say it, make fun of me all you want on CNN or wherever, but everyone already innately knows this. These people are not frickin' humans, okay?
And released back in 1997 for Microsoft Windows 95 operating systems. There isn't really much to say about this game other than it is the sequel to Need for Speed 1. It has some slick 90s era cars in it, you race with them at different locations around the world, and I suck at it like I do at most games.
Walk out the door, you see someone that you know and they ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Oh, and there's one fun fact regarding the title of the Need for Speed franchise. It allegedly got its name from the first Top Gun movie, where Tom Cruise and Anthony Edwards say,
I feel the need for speed. Ow!
So, there is that. It's something, I guess. Anyway, self-deprecating humor aside, today's topic, while I may not be super interested in automobiles or rather cars, is this one event that took place in history that caught my eye because there has been no other land-based vehicle to ever be able to accomplish the same feat. A quick question, what do any of you think might be the fastest car in the world? You can leave your answers in the comments below if you want to, but I guarantee you that you are all wrong. Unless your answer was the Thrust SSC, then you would be right, which in that case, give yourself a pat on the back because I have no cookies to offer you as a reward. The Thrust SSC The Thrust SSC was a supersonic vehicle that was able to reach such high speeds on land that it broke the sound barrier in the year 1997. See, up until this point, the only human mechanical inventions that had been able to break the sound barrier were a series of jet-propelled aircraft, the first of them being the US Air Force's Bell X-1 rocket-powered experimental jet way back in 1947. The pilot, Captain Chuck Yeager of the US Air Force, who performed this incredible feat, must have been shitting bricks all the way through the experimental test flight. Since then, many supersonic jet aircraft have been developed, one of the most famous being the SR-71 Blackbird stealth plane, which had been operational from the years 1966 to 1999, when it was retired from service. Nowadays, however, most modern fighter jets have the ability to do this, and with the technological advancement in drones, soon we may see unmanned aircraft that could go even faster. But to get back on topic, that begs the question, why hasn't there been any attempt by car manufacturers or even military contractors to create a land-based vehicle that could do the same? Well, while there may not have been any big-name companies to accomplish this, there was one former British Royal Air Force pilot that would attempt to do so in the year 1997, and his name is Andrew Green. Or rather, he would be the one to drive the car straight through the sound barrier. The people who designed and built it were engineers Jeremy Bliss, Ron Ayres, Glenn Bauscher, and entrepreneur Richard Noble, who had already broke the world record for fastest speed on land in 1983, using the precursor to the Thrust SSC called the Thrust 2. The previous record being set in 1970 by Gary Gabelich, driving the rocket-powered Blue Flame in a pure display of rich people having too much time on their hands. After throwing so much money into what was clearly more of a vanity project rather than for science, the team behind the development of Thrust SSC or Thrust Supersonic Car decided to test their new £2.48 million toy in the Nevada desert, USA on October 15, 1997, where their aim was to break both Richard Noble's previous 633.46 miles per hour or 1019.46 kilometers per hour record, and also the record set by Gary Gabelich back in 1970 of 630.38 miles per hour, which is roughly 1014.51 kilometers per hour.
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am. I'm fast as fuck, boy. I'm fast as fuck, boy. Still fast as fuck, boy.
The development of Thrust SSC first started with Richard Noble's desire of wanting to break the previous land speed record set by Gary Gabelich's Blue Flame back in 1970. His plan was to develop 3 different cars over the course of the next 2 decades, the first being a prototype that was simply meant for testing called Thrust 1. The next step was then to build a demonstration car with the second vehicle, Thrust 2, which would be used to attract potential sponsors to the project. As a special highlight, or rather selling point, this car was designed as a 2-seater, with an additional cabin on the left-hand side of the vehicle. Noble wanted to impress any thrill-seeking sponsors who would be willing to sacrifice their lives and ride passenger with him by enticing them with runs up to 200 miles per hour, or approximately 320 kilometers per hour, and win them over to his project. After he successfully broke the land speed record in 1983 with Thrust 2, the next and final stage in his little vanity project would be Thrust 3, or as it later became known as the Thrust Supersonic Car or SSC. Sporting 2 massive Rolls-Royce turbofan engines, which you would normally find on jet fighter planes, the Thrust SSC was able to achieve record-breaking speeds of around 763 miles per hour, or roughly 1,227 kilometers per hour, traveling so fast that it caused a sonic boom and broke the sound barrier twice, thus making it the fastest land vehicle ever created, a record which is yet to be beaten. That soundtrack from the Initial D anime was included purposefully, not only because it kinda fits with the theme of this video, but also just to troll on one of my friends who seems to get triggered every time he hears it, because it always gets stuck in his head after he had watched one too many Initial D memes on the internet back when they were popular. You know who you are. I just simply couldn't resist. Today the Thrust 2 and Thrust SSC have been completely retired from breaking speed records and are on display at the Coventry Transport Museum in England. So far no other attempts at breaking the record have been tried. However, there were two other projects that started in the mid-2000s that would adopt that goal of wanting to break the record set by Andrew Green in the Thrust SSC back in 1997. The first being the North American Eagle project, which was yet another jet-powered car that started development and testing way back in 2004. It would attempt to break the land speed record between the years of 2013 and 2019, reaching a top speed of 477.59 miles per hour, or roughly 768.61 kilometers per hour in 2016. Sadly though, its final run would end in tragedy, as due to a damaged front wheel assembly, the car was unable to brake fully at the end of its run, which in return resulted in a fatal crash and the death of its driver Jesse Combs. This tragic event led to the team behind its development to end up abandoning the project. However, Jessie Combs did earn her place as being the first woman in 46 years to break the fastest speed record in a land vehicle after first being set by Kitty O'Neill in 1973. The second supersonic car project beginning in 2008 is called the Bloodhound LSR, a British land vehicle designed with the intention of breaking the previous land speed record set by the Thrust SSC back in 1997. However, despite being outfitted with both a jet engine and a rocket engine, talk about overkill, the project has unfortunately been stalled due to the previous company involved in its development filing for bankruptcy in 2018. It was then picked up by entrepreneur, or rather billionaire with too much money in his pockets and too much time on his hands, Ian Warhurst, who created a new company called Grafton LRS Limited to keep the project alive. But even this ended up in yet another delay thanks to the world almost ending in 2020 and 2021 due to the China virus. COVID-19.
我有一个错误，我必须说现在就是很重要。我爱更尊重中国更中国人。我很抱歉对我的错误。
Since then, the Bloodhound project has been taken over by yet another billionaire with too much time and money on his hands named Stuart Edmondson. And while the driver of the Thrust SSC, Andrew Green, was initially signed onto the project, as of 2023 he has left and the team behind it are searching for a new driver. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of yet another episode of the 8-Bit Academic. I hope you all found this both entertaining and insightful, and thank you as always to all those that have subbed to the channel and continue to help it grow into something more. Goodbye for now, and in closing, here's another Initial D meme to annoy the ever-living crap out of my friend.
Right into your mind. Deja vu.